Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Monday, it's October 24th. I don't know about you, but I have no idea where October has gone. It's just gone by in a couple of seconds, it feels like. But anyway, I need to slow down time a bit. I need to practice my memory markers. That's how you do it. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day today. I've got my cup of tea. I have my green tea this morning, and one of my favorites, as you know. And I hope you've got a cup of tea or coffee. Settle down and we'll go through what's going on in the world. And I've got some interesting stories for you too that I hope you like at the end. Now, I want to, before I start though, thank you all for being here. I know that there are new women that are joining us all the time, and it's just so wonderful to see you talking to each other, connecting, and just thank you for being here. And I would remind you to go up to 60andme.com/mornings, and you can sign up to get the news first. So again, thanks for being here. It's really lovely to start my week with you. Now, in the world, in the United States, there was a very tragic accident yesterday in California. I know we have a lot of women in California, so I just wanted to bring you up to speed. This group of people were coming from Palm Springs, where they'd been to a casino, and the bus that they were in hit the back of a tractor trailer, and 13 people were killed, and 31 were injured. So our hearts go out to everybody that was involved. It's a fairly new story. I'm sure there'll be more details, but obviously our deepest condolences to everybody that was impacted. In France, this morning is a big day in France. This is the day when the French officials are going to officially close down the migrant camp called the Jungle. We've reported this a few times over the past few weeks. There are about 5,000 people there in near Calais, or in Calais, and it's the closest point to the United Kingdom. And most of these people who are migrants from all over the world want to go to the UK. But the French government has said they want to shut down this camp. And this morning, 60 buses are showing up to remove up to 5,000 people to about 450 reception areas, shelters around the country. And already this morning, there are several hundred that are lining up and ready to go. They've had enough of the conditions in the jungle, and they're going to be moved. But there are still some, it sounds like, who are not going to leave or don't want to leave, and so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out today. I hope it is okay, and there's lots of complexity to this story. There are lots of children still in the camp, underage minors who were not able to get to the United Kingdom. They didn't have relatives there. So the French officials have really thought this through. I think they're going to hopefully do a good job of getting people new homes. And then they can decide whether they want to apply for asylum in France. And it's an option for them. Now, back to the United States, I saw a story that I thought was kind of fascinating. There's this place between Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. It's called the Bermuda Triangle. And for years, this place has been like a really mysterious part of the ocean. Planes, boats disappear, planes go down. And for years, they've just thought this paranormal activity was something very magical and, unknown. But it turns out researchers now think they've figured it out. And what they've decided is that there's something about the air in that part. It still doesn't make any more sense, does it? But anyway, there's something in the air that creates what they call an air bomb. It's a hexagonal sort of grouping of the air. It causes an air bomb, and it's this intense wind that pulls up the waves, to a dramatic level. And so they think that that's what it is. And they've actually looked at other places in the world, in the North Sea, for example, where this happens as well. So that's the mystery solved of the Bermuda Triangle, or so the scientists say. But Mother Nature is very mysterious, isn't she? Wondrous things that happen. But that's the Bermuda Triangle. I thought I'd get that out of your mind today. So in Canada, Justin Trudeau, the new Prime Minister in Canada, is patiently waiting as to whether to pack his suitcases for Thursday. He's meant to be coming to Brussels to sign a trade agreement that has been going on now. Discussions have been going on for 7 years. This is going to be a trade agreement between the EU, 28 countries and Canada. Well, everything was going fine until a little group region in Brussels called, or in Belgium, excuse me, called Wallonia, vetoed the proposal. So now we just don't know whether it's going to happen or not. And it's something that really is setting a tone for the rest of the relationships with the EU. I mean, if Canada, of our friendly, English-speaking, positive country, is not able to do a trade agreement with the EU, it's going to be very challenging for the UK when they have to deal with this. So it's kind of a significant decision. And the deadline's today. Well, Wallonia thinks it's not a good deal for them, and they're out of all the countries in the EU are blocking it. Actually, they're part of Belgium, so that's the story. Now, I search every day to find articles that are of interest to our sisters in Australia and New Zealand, and honestly, I do check the newspapers, and today the best thing I could come up with is not going to please the Australian women, and that is that the All Blacks from rugby team from New Zealand beat Australia, I think for the 18th time. So it's not good news, but it's news, and I would love if you've got stories to share from Australia and Asia, parts of the world that don't get covered so well here in the Western part of the world. Let us know and we'll cover it. But that's the news from Australia this morning. Sorry, I can't be a bearer of better news for the Australians. New Zealand women will love it. So there's a couple more stories here just quickly. In Europe, back to Europe, Spain has had no government for the last 10 months. They have had this constant battle between the Conservative Party, which actually won the majority of votes, and the socialist government that's been blocking the formation of a coalition government. Well, this weekend, the socialists said, okay, we will give up and we will not block the vote anymore. We will let this coalition government, however it takes shape, we'll let it form. And that's really good news for Spain, because it means they can start really getting their world in order and start, just the government can start doing its job. That is the news that I've discovered around the world this morning. And I now would like to change gears a bit and talk about something that maybe you're interested in. A lot of people, we chat about this sometimes. And of course, it's basically how to keep a healthy brain. And very important. Now, they say that taking a nap is a great way to strengthen the brain. Personally, I cannot take a break in the day and take a nap. I just find myself too sleepy. That probably says something about my sleeping habits. But they say, the experts, and we'll put the link in this article. It's from the Wall Street Journal, which is a reputable paper, so that you can see the whole story. But they say that a 10 to 20 minute nap sometime during the day is really good for you. It's good for your brain. And in fact, it helps cognitive functioning, helps your memory. If you can just take 20 minutes and just do a nap. If you want something a little more detailed or a little more intense, you can have a 60-minute nap. And this apparently is really, it gets you into this deep sleep state where you can actually get a deeper healing from the rest. And then you can even do a 90-minute nap, which takes you into a pretty deep sleep, but again, gets you through that cycle where you're probably going to have dreams, which again helps the brain to kind of pull everything together and keep you healthy. So you can do a short 20-minute or an hour or 90 minutes. And the article gives you a bit more detail about which one's best for you. And it says here, by the way, if you do find yourself dreaming during those short naps, those 20-minute naps, it probably means that you're sleep deprived and that you should look at your sleeping habits to see whether you need more sleep in the evening and your normal sleep. So they say also that it's important when you take a nap in the day. And in the article, there's this like a wheel that you can sort of calculate. If you get up at a certain time, what's the best time to take the nap? So for an example, if you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, usually on average, the best time for you to take a nap, any length, is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you can kind of do this calculation. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. And I think that the evidence seems to be pointing towards the fact that if you do have a power nap in the day, you'll feel better. And it's good for your head and your brain. Do you find that? Is anybody a real big power nap fan? It'd be interesting to know what your experience is. And I'll see, maybe I'll take a nap today and see how I feel. But it's good advice, something to think about. Now, oh yes, I want to tell you who the winner is, or the person I selected for our Gentle Yoga DVD. And so many people talked about it. I hope you check out it's a great DVD set. It covers all parts of the body, and it's actually from 60andMe. We designed this specifically for older women, older bodies that are maybe not so flexible, and we just are a little older. We need some. It's not to get into a pretzel and kind of break your back. It's really to become more flexible and less stressed, able to just do things that you want to do. So we've got one DVD that I've selected someone to receive, and her name is Sharon Jackson. So Sharon, congratulations. Hope you enjoy it. You'll love Kat Kabira, the teacher. She's fantastic, and I hope it's a good practice for you. And let us know how you get on. So in fact, Sharon, I've sent you a quick mail to ask you to send me your mailing address, and then I can get it in the post to you. So thanks for everybody for making comments and just for joining in general. Your conversations are wonderful. So thank you again for that. Now, I want to close with a story that I just found this really interesting. I was looking at the Sunday papers, and I found an article on something I'm pretty interested in myself, which is technology and innovation. I'm really interested in how we invent things, how things come into the world, and how things change our lives dramatically. Just somebody coming up with a thought or an idea and then developing it. And sometimes I think we forget that there's some things that happened very recently, like within the last 50 years, that have just changed the whole way the world works. Anyway, this article was talking about things that we may have forgotten that have been invented in the last, thousands of years. And when you think about some of these things that happened that were just discovered years ago, I don't know where we would be to get today without them. And I just want to run through this list and just give you a chance to think about what you would do without some of these things that were invented years ago. Forget the technology of today. So the first thing, of course, is paper, invented thousands of years ago. Here I've got my paper in my hand right now. There's gunpowder. Now there's an invention. The compass allowed exploration. The steam engine, beginning of travel. Vaccinations. Now these were all, discovered, many, many years ago. Refrigeration. What if we didn't have a fridge? What about toilets, sanitary systems? And then, of course, you've got the bigger things that we all could not live without, right? Our telephones, electricity. We've got penicillin. And then the whole area of semiconductor electronics, computers. That's something that was just invented really fairly recently in the great scheme of things. And then, of course, the birth control pill. That's definitely changed the world in many, many ways. And, of course, our beloved mobile phones. I don't know what we would do without our phones. But those are some things that have been invented in the last few thousand years, and I think all of them really are amazing and have contributed to a lifestyle that we enjoy today. So I just think that's kind of fascinating. Now, I personally think that my mobile phone is almost my most important thing in the world. And I was looking at a chart the other day that said it used to be that food and shelter were your prime human needs. And now, I think everybody would probably agree that Wi-Fi and the internet have taken over priority. I'd almost go without, food for a few days anyway, if I had connection to my technology and to you, because that's how I reach you. Anyway, I think that's kind of a fun reflection on our society and how lucky we are that all this is here for us to take advantage of. So thank you for, listening and thinking about that. And I would like to ask you a question related to that. And it's just simply, what do you think has been the most important innovation or most important invention in the last, 1,000 years? Be interesting to know what you think the most important one is. Yeah, leave your comments in the section below and we'll have a conversation and then we'll chat about it maybe tomorrow, see what people said. I do hope you have a really, really wonderful Monday. Get the week off to a great start, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow on Mornings with 60andMe. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.